Today, I am full from the Rethinking uh, Church Virtual Summit. I'm Bernice, everyone. I wanted to say first hello, and I'll introduce myself very shortly. We have 3 minutes to go before it is the start time of this amazing session an off the discussion with yours truly, Bernice. And the title of my book is Marketing Campaign Handbook. So I want to just wait a few minutes, 2 minutes actually, before the start time. And we're going to have this discussion. Let me first put the information to my book here. I'm going to create a poll as well. All right, I just created a poll. So that is. All right, so we have 1 minute. Who's in? I see someone is already in early with me. If you can, use the chat option to first just say hello. Don't be rude. I say that also even with virtual as well, like when you're with someone in person and they're just right there looking at you without speaking, your first thought is, okay, are they going to say hello? Let me say hello. So I feel the same way even in virtual spaces. So if you're here, don't just watch me, look at me, just comment hello. Let me know where you're watching from. That would be awesome. And just share a little bit about yourself, because I will. We're in 1 minute away for the marketing campaign handbook discussion. We're going to have a great time here. I see I have 1 hour. So we got some time today. Yes, I had a presentation today and I spoke about creating a media team. So if you guys didn't get a chance to join today, I know if you register, because you registered, you'll get a recording by our LaKesha. She will assist you with that, or the Womack group. So hello everybody, it's 5 o'clock and I'm Bernice, and I want to share with you guys a little bit about the book. It's titled Marketing Campaign Handbook. I have added my LinkedIn. Hold on, my LinkedIn. Not my LinkedIn, my Amazon link. Let me put this here. All right, here it is. So that is the short link to my book, Marketing Campaign Handbook. I have it here in the chat option. So if you definitely want to get it, it is there. I also have here a polls. I would love to know if you created before a marketing campaign for your ministry. So I chose or created a poll, and it's just a simple 2-part answer, yes or no. Have you created a marketing campaign for your ministry? I would like to know. And there's an option to ask a question. So feel free to ask your question in the chat box or the Q&A option. And here I am. I'm going to share with you. I have a presentation for my book. And the title of my book is titled Marketing Campaign Handbook. And what I'll do for this presentation is I want to let you guys know a little bit about the book. I'll introduce myself, and I wrote the book because I create marketing campaigns, and I've done so for several years now. And what I realized, that there were more of a larger corporations that were seeking assistance with creating campaigns, and then there were smaller businesses and smaller ministries who didn't seek that guidance. And so I really thought it was more so of a myth that campaigns are just for larger corporations, or for for political parties. If you heard, if someone's running for a political office, there's a campaign that's there. There's strategy, there's an ongoing call to action. Well, those things can also take place in a marketing campaign for a ministry. And so I wrote the book because I'm like, let me just give a simple step by step guide in creating a campaign. And it doesn't take tons of money to create it. You just have to know what tools, what strategies to use. And so I literally just titled it Handbook, something that can be simple, a simple form, of literature. Just grab the book and boom, it's there. So if you ever need some assistance in it, in creating a marketing campaign, there's a guide for you. So that was my reasons for creating it. A little bit about myself. I am the owner of Loman Creative Services. What we do, we are a one-stop shop for branding and marketing, and not just creating logos and flyer designs, but we specialize in branding and marketing for creating successful marketing campaigns. And with our array of services, we have text marketing, email marketing, social media management marketing, live streaming tech services, array of services that we compile these array of services to create marketing campaigns. And we service ministries and businesses. I'm also a certified business coach. What that means, I serve in two areas with as a certified business coach, and it is goal setting and accountability. I'm also a Zoom partner and certified with Zoom. I'm an author, of course, of Marketing Campaign Handbook. That's why you're here. I'm going to discuss a little bit about the book, and give you some tips, some tools that you can use that I have already provided inside the book. And feel free, by the way, to ask questions. I am also Google mobile website certified. I'm the chairperson for Kimtech Community College, Tech College in Kenya, Africa, and I'm also the event host of the amazing. And I don't say this to uh, raise myself or place myself on some pedestal. They're amazing team members, amazing team, amazing people that make up the annual Christian Business Owner Summit, and amazing speakers. And so that is why I say amazing that we host every year for Christian business owners. Simply text Loman CS, and if you want to screenshot this, you can. To If you're not doing it now, but text Loman CS to 22828. And this way you can stay connected with me, and also Loma Creative Services, a company, to find out a little bit of everything that we're doing, what we have upcoming. If you're interested in technology tips, media tips, social media tips, upcoming events, Christian business events that's upcoming, and seeing some other of our works. We provide tons of tips through our emails that we only send out most times to our email subscribers. So that's why you need to stay connected. All right. So let me first talk about building um, building a successful marketing campaign. And so I'm going to first let you know the understanding of how to understand what a marketing campaign is, and the agenda is also to learn 4 marketing tips. I'm going to provide that, and also 4 marketing tools. So we're also going to have an opportunity for Q&A. And as I stated before, here in the hop in option, you'll see on the right tab, there's an option to not only chat, but you can ask a question. So please use that feature as well as the poll feature. I have a question. I'm just interested to know who in the room has created a marketing campaign before. So feel free to use that option. All right. And you can simply find the book at marketingcampaignhandbook.com, or in this hop in platform, I've already added the Amazon short link to the book. So if you want to go directly to Amazon, the short link is already provided in the chat box in this session. So I did the homework for you already. All you got to do is get it and go on over to Amazon. So first, let's understand what is a marketing campaign. All right. So for those who are just coming on, I'm sharing about my book. I have it right here. It's titled The Marketing Campaign Handbook. And I first want to explain, and I share also in the book what a marketing campaign is. In fact, some of the beginning chapters I talk about, the first chapter I talk about is branding before you even get into marketing. And I shared that because I find that there are a lot of small ministries and business owners who don't understand it too. One of the things I see is that there are ministries that and businesses that tend to just go straight into marketing, and there's no branding. There's no brand identity. So I talk about brand identity in this book. So for this 1 hour that we have, I'm only going to share about the marketing campaign perspective, but inside the book, the first chapter, I talk about all about branding, from identity, from even described about branding DNA, the culture that's being built as before getting into marketing, the importance of it, the language that needs to speak, identifying your audience, all of that before getting into the description of marketing campaign. So what you have with this presentation is the marketing concept, the marketing information. But a marketing campaign is an organized course of action to promote and sell a product or service. And you may think, well, this is ministry. How does this apply to me? Well, I work with pastors all the time, and I know some may be sensitive to saying, oh, selling, but you are advertising the gospel. Whether you want to admit it or not, you are advertising the gospel. You are marketing, or supposed to be marketing the gospel, making it so appealing that you want to draw those who are lost, those who are bound, those who need deliverance. And and I say this because, like I said, I preach and teach all the time related to marketing, and I know that this can be a sensitive topic to most, and I'm sure probably not you guys, because you register, so there's another level that you have to get to. This marketing it's a course of action to promote. You're promoting. What are you promoting? You're promoting the mission. You're promoting the vision. You're promoting the great things that your ministry has. And so the campaign perspective of this is a course of action. So it's several actions leading up to a certain goal. You will be setting a goal in mind, whether you can create a campaign on going back to church. Say your back to church date is, let's say, next month, the 12th. So there's a course of action that needs to take place during that time. The branding, being consistent. That's why I always share in the book about branding is so important, and it goes so close hand to hand with marketing. And once you have already identified your brand, it makes the marketing side a little easier. So the course of action is what is taking place leading up to that lead goal. The organized course of action. Keep in mind the key word right here is organize. So it has to be, that's why strategy, put in the comments, strategy. That's why strategy is so important, because it is it is an organized way that, okay, we have this goal. We're going to relaunch, or we're going to rebrand, or we're going to go back into whatever type of event. We're going to go back into the church. There's an in-person service, whatever is going to take place. You're going to lead the people to that specific date. That is the goal. But there's an organized way, whether you're going to organize your texts, you're going to organize the emails, you're going to organize your online digital marketing strategy has to take place. All of this is an organized course of action that goes into promoting the end goal. And that is what you call a marketing campaign, where most larger companies think of, especially political parties, mostly think of their political campaign. Their end goal is 2022. So right now they're already aiming for courses of actions, organized course of actions. So when people get close and time for the voting, then they have already been sort of, I guess I'm going to say this word, program. They've been programmed to think, okay, vote for this person, vote for this person. And so other larger companies also use campaigning for a large event, a new product. Ministry can use it again for new events, new branding. And so when you get that date, there is a organized course of action. Now, I say this, and I guess I'm ahead of myself here, because I already talked about the branding. But put in the comments, branding matters. Branding matters, and I wrote this again. I literally placed in the book about the importance of branding, even from the visual of your logo. And so that's why I put that for number 2. Number 1, definitely establish a brand identity. I cannot stress that enough. Please don't try to form any type of course of action or call to having people to go to your website, purchase this, go to your website, visit your service, and they have no clue of what your ministry stand for. Or even what your ministry have done, or any type of the vision. They have no clue, because there hasn't been any type of brand identity. So this is why I wrote in the book about describing and making it so clear. I'm a believer, you write the vision down and you make it plain. That's simply what brand identity is. Brand identity is not a logo. Logo is a tool that can be used to describe your branding. And so people will know that that's that image, that's your face of it. But how people feel, how people perceive your ministry, what do they feel when your name is called, your ministry is called? What is that feeling? And even down to a simple font and community that's being built. All of this plays a great part in brand identity. How would you want people to feel? Listen out for what people are saying in the community also, because believe it or not, let me say this. You might not like it. You may not like it as a ministry, but if you do not brand, you've already branded. All right, let me say that again. All right. If you have not branded, then if you do not brand, you have already branded. This means when you don't brand to share and introduce your vision or mission, or or what your ministry stands for, people will form a brand already. They will form an identity of you anyway. So you might as well do it the right way and establish it and let that brand come from the source, which is you, versus you don't brand at all and if you're established in ministry already and you have your ministry and people visit or they join online, you've already established some form of brand, believe it or not. So what brand identity is, that you're controlling your identity of how people perceive and feel about your ministry. So and I mentioned in the book about fresh logo, and social media graphics. There's more in the book, but I wanted to bring these two tips. I wanted to bring these two tips because I find that most people are on social media, and most people can really identify a brand not just by the way they feel, but people are visual. A lot of people are visual. So I brought in, I identified first the logo, and inside the book I talk about the different formats that you need to have with your logo design, and not only that, but how to communicate with the graphic designer who's going to design your logo, or who has designed it already, and what type of logos are needed for specific projects and things that you're doing in ministry and or business. So this is important as it relates to building your brand and marketing as well, because um, there's a color normally that's tied to a logo, that is a brand that's being formed. There's a font that's being used to your logo. All of that is an established brand that you're building. And so with that, what happens most times is when you are on social media, sometimes your graphics does not match the identity of what you've established in your logo and in your branding. And all of that does matter as well. So you want to make sure that you're being consistent in your branding, being consistent, just as simple as your font. And inside the marketing campaign handbook, I talk about different fonts, where you can go to get different fonts. I'm going to give you some tools right here. You're in here, so I'm going to give you some tools literally like right here. One, for your fonts, you can simply, everybody heard of Google. Google allows you to simply, if you go to fonts.google.com, it's going to take you tons of most fonts that are standard fonts. And with those standard fonts, you can select one if you do not know what font the graphic designer used. And so if you choose one, stay with those one or two fonts. Don't get all over the place. Create a flyer here. You got a graphic right here. You got a lower third for your ministry. The live stream font is here. Stay very consistent with your branding, because that also helps in the marketing process. Here are some well-known other tools that you can use as far as branding as well for some of your graphics. Canva, Fiverr, Made with Hover, Coolers, and I had to put up our logo in there too, Loman Creative Services. Now, here is just some alternatives when you cannot hire a brand specialist. But let me say this, let me be clear. It is highly recommended to hire a brand specialist for branding and rebranding. Some of these, I know specifically, I've heard stories about Fiverr. They're a good company, lower cost. But what happens is sometimes when it's a lower cost, because I'm a believer, you get what you pay for. Most times when it's a lower cost, that means if you pay $5, $7, $10 for it, that same template is going to be used for the next person that has purchased that same graphic. So if you're wanting to truly brand with your ministry, you may want to highly consider at least connecting with the brand specialist to help you start when you're rebranding, to create a brand package, so that when you're creating your brand package, they already have your fonts, they already have your colors, they already have your graphic templates. And I talk about that also in the book, how it's important to also have templates as well. And that when you're working with a brand specialist knows that this is this is your brand. This is your brand package, and I am going to also add in a color palette. Now, a color palette is your colors. It can be your RGB codes. It can be the codes um, of your ministry, and so you'll when you're wanting to brand, save your colors red and blue, and you might want to try something a little different. Well, in that RGB, in that color palette, you can still have several other colors that you can use as long as it stays within that red and blue. And I talk about that also inside my marketing campaign handbook. I'm just giving you guys a little presentation here, but I want to encourage you to get the book, because I get more in depth into literally where to go. It's literally a handbook. Like, I'm telling you, hey, go to this here, go to this website to find this, go there, and I'm telling you where to go so that you can it can help guide you in the process. And also, I even share about transcriptions, how to transcribe your video. I'll talk more about live streaming and transcriptions, content creation, all of that great stuff that is in this handbook. Um, but a color palette generator, you can go to Coolers. It's is right there at coolers.co. It's not com, it's .co. So coolers.co can give you a general idea of creating a color palette and keeping those colors and remaining consistent. So keeping those colors and remaining consistent can help you with your branding. And I want to also share with you what I put in the book about content creation, because content also matters. When you begin to market, the thing about building a campaign is you have to stay consistent, and you can literally bore people with just the same information. So having fresh content, what does this mean? That means Sunday, you're at church, you're preaching. Sunday, you're doing your Bible study. Tuesday and Wednesday, that may be something fresh or something new, but there are some people who have already seen the style and the method of your preaching already. So here's another example, because I shared this also in one of the classes today, the class that I taught today, and it was the building a media team, building a tech team. And what I shared about, and I also share in the book as well, is that you can take one thing, one word, and that one word, for instance, say you talked about victory, overcoming an obstacle, or victorious or victory, and you can take that and you can redistribute. You can take that victory, do a blog on victory, share some testimony stories of someone who has overcame and they're victorious. It's still the sermon from Sunday, but the content is new. There's still some form of content, and so you're still bringing the people in the vision of victory, the still in the storyline of victory, but there are new things that are taking place, and you're creating content based on the message of the house. So you have that message for the house that can be distributed out into different forms. So say once one part of the ministry community or understood it one way, but you still can take that message of victory, and you can even do Snapchat posts that can describe victory for a younger generation, or do stories for Insta stories, Instagram stories. That is fresh content, but it's still the message that's for the week for that house. So feeding that, not only the content and creating the content, but feeding that content to your email and your text subscribers. And I talked about early in the class, I hope you guys get my session that was titled Build a Media Tech Team, because today I talked about, other forms of media team persons and what each person does. So I talked about the descriptions and also how to build that team. So I talked a little bit more in depth about that. So I won't, go into that right now because you guys register so you can go back and get the replay. But I do share more in depth with my book or what tools that you can use when it comes to your content creation, and how to use those tools. Also, I have here on the slide about investing 3 hours a month at least. Okay. If you could do more, I highly recommend that too. And I say you as a pastor, a leader, a media team, or getting someone on the team that can assist you in the content. That way you have more content that's going out. Content is simply information. The gospel, how do you want to share this good news, but in a creative way? These are still marketing tools that can be used. And within the campaign, you're building up. Here's a content. I'm going to put this content through text. I'm going to add this content that's going to go out now through our email newsletter. I'm going to use this same content, and now I'm going to use a small mini video. And you're being consistent in the marketing, in your marketing. You have to be consistent. The thing about marketing campaigns is that you have to be consistent. What does this mean? That means if you're that person that says, I'm going to do it, and you procrastinate, you might want to work on that. And you might want to bring someone on your team can definitely assist you in the ongoing process with your team. Now, if you can see yourself just outsourcing, by all means, and I talked about this today, outsource this, because this is one of the importance of your ministry is creating content, creating information. And there are tools that you can use. And I put this, I've added also in the book of different webinar tools, different text tools that can be used so that, you can have your consistent content that's going out before the people. This is very important. So that's why I say content matters. Put in the chat, content matters. Put in the chat, content matters. I'm going to um I'm going to I'm going to I'm going to pause for a minute because I want you guys to use the option that I have in the poll. The poll's question is, have you created a marketing campaign for your ministry? I want to pause because I want you guys to use this option. Have you created a marketing campaign for your ministry? If you can take this time and go to the polls right beside the chat option, there's a box polls. I would love for you to use that option. Have you created a marketing campaign for your ministry? I see a couple of you guys are on in here, and I want to make sure that I get the responses to that. So I'm pausing for a moment because I want you guys to answer that. Have you created a marketing campaign for your ministry? And again, also in the chat, I have the short link for my book, Marketing Campaign Handbook. So have you created a marketing campaign for your ministry? Let's see. I want to see those answers. Have you created a marketing campaign for your ministry? I asked this question because, as I stated in the beginning, when it comes to, marketing alone, I find that there are a lot of small ministries that are like, we need a market. Yes, you need a market. You need to market. Please see my session from today, my recording, and I talked about building a team, and one of the team descriptions or role, one of the team roles that I added in today's session was a marketing strategist for church, for your ministry, and how important that is to have someone there who's going to be your analytics. They're that analytical person. They're going to read your analytics. They're going to see that maybe you had a whole hour service, but only 90% of the people actually saw your service only 5 minutes. So what decision will you make during that moment? What conversation is going to take place? And when you're building a marketing campaign, analytics does matter. You have to you have to know the data. You have to know the data. Um, it just makes sense to know the data so that you can make better decisions for the next time. If you're constantly preaching and sweating and preaching and sweating and preaching and sweating, and only only two people, you got two views, and you watch the views and they didn't even watch but 1 minute of the service, you may want to highly consider from that making a decision to change maybe your time. Uh, you can change the time of your service. I know that sounds like I'm throwing some stones, but you have to have someone there who's going to really give you the data. And so I'm interested to know why, or interested to know, have you created a marketing campaign for your ministry, and what was the outcome? What did that look like when you were creating your marketing campaign for your ministry? And if you have not, well, you're in the right place. You are in the right place. But I want you to know some tips here. I want you to know some tips here about, first, having the information, because sometimes we're like telling people, come to our church. We got service at 10 a.m. We got service at 10 a.m. We got service at 10 a.m. Here's our cash out. Give to us. But what are they giving to? What have you formed that people can know your brand before you just put up your cash app? And what happens? I'm seeing all these cash apps, and I'm like, I can't even go to your website. You don't even have a website to take me to. And if you have a website and you take me to the website, it's no consistency. You got one flyer here, your color here, and I go to the website and I'm seeing a whole nother thing. And I'm like, is this even your church? Like, it's total, it's different. It's like a digital bipolar, digital bipolar, literally. You're one way on this day over here, in social media, over here, the social media platform. You go to your website, it's something totally different. And I can't find you over in YouTube or any other platform. So you want to make sure that, the importance of creating campaigns is that you're being consistent across the board, and everything looks the same. Everything, yes, you're doing something different on each platform because it requires. You can't do on LinkedIn what you do on Facebook. The group is different. And you surely can't do on LinkedIn what you do on Snapchat. It's totally a total different platform, and vice versa for all the other platforms. So your information is the same. Your strategy needs to change. The methods of how you do marketing must change for the relevancy, but the brand identity should remain the same. If you follow me on LinkedIn, I had last week I talked about building brand identity and what that looks like in a changing digital world. And I shared about the message of your message can you can shift your the strategy and how you do with ministry and business, but let your message remain the same for branding for your branding identity. All right. Here are some tools that I want to share with you. I also share these in the book, so you guys getting some great things today. I share this also inside the book. Um, I share these tools. Constant contact and easy texting is really great for like text campaigns. If you want to be consistent with texting out, and constant contact is a really great platform for email campaigns. Please don't send 50 and 60 emails and everybody see each other emails. Really remain professional, even in ministry. You can send out e-newsletters, and Constant Contact offers some amazing uh, templates that you can use. So even if you don't have a graphic designer in your ministry, Constant Contact offers some professional, optimized for the email for your mobile that you can send out to those in your church. Now, I do have a free trial for Constant Contact. So if you're watching this and you're interested in it, please let me know by commenting now. And if you're catching a replay, I'm going to share my information at the end of this presentation so that you can just send me an email. Let me know, hey, Bernice, was on Rethinking Church Virtual Summit, and I want that free trial of Constant Contact. So you can definitely try it out. I'm telling you, it's amazing. You're going to want to try it for your ministry. And here's another thing that I want to add as well is have digital material available on your website. Let me pause for a moment. Have digital material available on your website. Let me pause for a minute. I'm going to ask this in the chat. Who has digital material available on their website? This is not just a communication that I need to discuss this with business owners, but also those in ministry. So if you're wanting to build a cyber church, if you want to build an online community, what I love to hear LaKesha say about building digital disciples, if you're truly wanting to minister to those and build a relationship with people online, it's going to take more than them just, or you inviting them to watch your live services. So having digital material available doesn't have to be for sale. You can provide digital books, a PDF, just a simple 2 or 3 page PDF of maybe the sermon that was shared, but having something that they can look forward to come. That information that I literally shared this of tools that you can use for the transcribing, where you say you have your sermon that can be transcribed, the video that can be transcribed also as well. When I tell you there are tools in this handbook, you definitely want to get those tools, because we're in a digital, if you haven't noticed that we're in a digital age, a digital world, especially during the pandemic, let me be the first to definitely tell you, we are in a time where if you are not digital, you will miss out on some amazing opportunities. You will miss out on the opportunity also of sharing the mission and the vision of your ministry, especially especially virtually. So make sure that you are building digital materials for your website. And you may have another source to have it available. Maybe you might not want to be stored on your website. You might want it to be something that's going out through email. Whatever, it needs to be consistent. You need to have a strategy on how it's going to be implemented, because that's a part of the campaign, is that there's a strategy that's taking place, so that you're not just sending and putting things out and not having meaning behind it. You want to be intentional. Okay, listen to me. You want to be intentional about what you're doing. You want to be intentional about your digital strategy. And that is why I add in this book about being intentional, having a strategy. I share also the marketing plan. You have to have a marketing plan. Having a marketing plan is the one of the biggest piece for a marketing campaign. You need a plan to literally execute to your main goal. So if you're wanting to create a campaign on, for example, of everyone going back to church, well, you need a plan on how to do it. What are we going to do? What tools we're going to use? How many people we're going to are going to be a part of the launch team? Are you launching back into ministry, or you're rebranding? Well, you need a campaign on that, but you need to be consistent. So what does that look like? There's going to be another level of qualifications of people's skill level, who's going to be a part of it. And let me say this, be okay with outsourcing as well. Of course, you have Loman Creative Services to assist you as well. But I want you to also, understand that sometimes, and I said this today in class, in the session, is sometimes you may need to outsource so that your goal is met and you're not spending as much time in learning something. But outsourcing can definitely help you to reach your goal most times, in most cases, much faster than the time it takes um, to build a team. Sometimes the time that it takes, that you just have a workload, and you just can't do it with the few that you have, or you just can't do it by yourself. Sometimes the pastors are literally sometimes the one man, one woman show. So outsourcing also helps you with that. But again, go back to the replay of my session today, and I give more in depth on that, of what I'm talking about. But now I'm going to pause. Any questions? Let me give you guys my I want to give you guys my information. We're closing in on time, and I want to make sure you get my information here. Okay, here you should see it here. You can screenshot it, and it's also in this platform. So if you just go to my profile, my information also is there in my hop in profile here. Any questions? I want to take my last few minutes to answer questions that you may have. Let me know if you have any questions. And again, I'm Bernice, and I'm talking about my book, Marketing Campaign Handbook. Be sure to get this replay, because I talked about the reason why I wrote the book. And yeah, I also talk about in the book distribution, ways that you can distribute your content, different platforms that you can distribute out for your platforms. I talked a little bit about also podcasting. You guys are gonna love the book. I have a feeling that you're gonna love the book. But if there are not any questions, it's been great. And again, I am Bernice. It's been great again, and I will chat with you guys very soon. Have a great